Hello and welcome to ThomasGeigerCar. Today with the next generation 5 Series. Here at the Miramar test track of BMW in southern France, the engineers are doing the last twisters on the next generation of the business sedan that will hit the markets later that year. But to be honest, the car that should have its world debut at the Munich Auto Show in September does not come alone. Same as we know it from the 7 Series, it will be two models, a diesel, petrol, plug-in version for the old world and an i5 for the Generation E. If you want to know all the details, get some first driving impressions and want to know which tweaks and twists the engineers have found for that vehicle, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you all about it. When BMW presented the 7 Series for the first time, people were either shocked or amazed because the design is so extreme and so much out of the box. The 5 Series is less extreme. It is still disguised, but I can already tell you, kidney grille and the lights are just very conventional because this car has to please all the tasters all around the world. It is a really global car. It's the all-rounder in the BMW portfolio, so they can't go to the extreme and they have to find the common grounds of global taste. When it comes to dimensions, that's the same. Proportions are still pretty perfect and didn't change a lot. Yes, the car grew in each dimension. It's a bit longer, it's a bit wider, it's a bit higher. That's mainly due to the crash requirements and to the space requirement of the battery. But overall, it is a 5 Series, easily recognizable, and it will stay the classic sedan. And BMW is promising with the largened wheelbase, there is also more room for the rear seat occupants, so the car should be a bit more comfy in the future. But no matter how comfy the rear seat really is, my favorite place in the car is front left side. And if I have the chance to drive a prototype, you don't have to ask me twice. I'm just starting and get going. So come on, join me. Let's go for a drive. Actually, we're driving the i5 40e. That is one of the two electric models BMW will launch towards the end of the year. The other one is the i5 M60 at the upper end. 40e means rear wheel motor, 250 kilowatts. M60 means all-wheel drive, two motors, 440 kilowatts. Both powertrains are using the same battery coming from the i4 with roughly 80 kilowatt hours, transferring to a range of 520 kilometers in the sports model and 580 kilometers roughly in the entry model. But since the 5 Series is the all-rounder, it's offering the widest range of engines. So yes, there will be most probably more electric drivetrains and there will be lots of conventional drivetrains. We have 4 and 6-cylinder diesels, we have 4 and 6-cylinder petrol engines, and we have at least 2 plug-in hybrids, of which one can go more than 100 kilometers on an electric charge. Talking about the range, there is one new feature that will come to the other BMW electric models as well. That's a driver's profile, a My Mode that is absolutely maximizing the range. Maximum efficiency is its name, and if you press that, it does not only turn down aircon and all the other waste users and does not only reduce the power, no, it also reduces the top speed. Pretty new to BMW drivers, not being able to go more than 90 kilometers per hour, but that gives you a range benefit of roughly 25% and makes sure you'll reach your charging point without any worries. If we look around in the vehicle, it is still camouflaged, so not too much to see, but what we see is pretty familiar. It is the common BMW architecture like we know it from i4 or i7, with the big curved display, with the 2 screens, the digital cluster instrument, the huge touch screen beside, and underneath the camouflage here, I also have an iDrive controller. So classical BMW layout, everything nice and well organized. Not as fancy or luxurious as in the 7 Series, but pretty attractive already in the prototype. So I'm damn sure they will make a good appearance once they take off the covers. When driving the i5, you realize why BMW is not using a traditional electric skateboard architecture, but combining all the powertrains on one platform. That makes the car feel like a BMW, while a Mercedes EQE feels a bit like a spaceship and you don't have a good response from the road. This car is proper BMW. It is sporty, it is engaging, it is agile, and you really feel where the vehicle is going. That is due to some certain twists and tweaks and some extras in the setup of the vehicle. So we have an adaptive air suspension on the rear axle. We have a rear wheel steering that at least goes up to 2.5 degrees. Much less than, for example, at Mercedes, but still enough to reduce the turning circle while parking for about 30 centimeters, and still enough to make that car even more agile on twisted country roads like that. But overall, it is not an electric vehicle. It is mainly a 5 Series just with an electric powertrain. I know there are some people that expect a different feeling when driving an electric vehicle, but I really love driving. I have that sheer driving pleasure. And I'm happy that I can drive a 5 Series just without bad feelings towards the climate, but not without changing my drive style and my expectations. BMW is challenging Tesla and co. not only because of the electric drivetrain, the sheer driving pleasure for the electric age, no, also when it comes to driver assistance systems, the so-called Autopilot. Same as Tesla, BMW is only offering level 2 plus compared to level 3 at Mercedes, but they're now offering hands-free driving on the highway legally. You're not allowed to take your mobile or to start reading a newspaper, but on the highway you can put your hands in the lap and let the car do the work for miles and miles, for hours and hours, in the best case as long as the battery lasts, because the car keeps the distance, keeps the speed, keeps the lane, and the car even offers you a kind of automatic overtaking. Once the car realizes there is a gap, I'll go back to the right lane to demonstrate that. So once the car realizes there is a chance to overtake and there is a gap behind you, it will offer you the option, and then you don't need to press any button, you don't need to use any handle, you just look towards the left and the car realizes, yes, you want that maneuver, and overtakes by itself. That's really fancy. That's a kind of gesture control. That's almost steering with your willpower instead of with your hands. Yes, it is not as beneficial as the level 3 because you're not allowed to do any extra things, but there is one big advantage for this system. That's the price tag. While Mercedes is charging many thousand euros for its level 3 system, and I assume when level 3 will come into the 7 Series later that year, it will not be much cheaper. BMW is promising the level 2 plus system with the hands-free Autobahn driving will just cost a few hundred euros more. So a few hundred euros for lots of more comfort and a relaxed long-distance driving, that's the perfect solution for a car like the 5 Series, because the 5 Series is the Autobahn hero of BMW, the mileage millionaire, the car that has been driven for the longest distances. So what better car to offer that system than this? Thanks for joining me on that first test drive with the BMW 5 Series. Yes, it's still a prototype, but it already impressed me quite a lot, because the BMW 5 Series has always been the all-rounder in the portfolio, and now the holistic approach becomes even wider. We still have petrol, diesel and plug-in hybrid, and now for the first time ever, an electric version. We still have the sporty drive on the country road, the agile drive in the city, and the relaxed drive on the highway, combined with a very high degree of automation this time. And we still have lots of body styles. We have the sedan in the standard version for Europe and the US, and the long wheelbase for China. And for sure, we will have a station wagon as well. Not only as petrol and diesel and plug-in hybrid, but for the first time ever, also as an electric i5 Touring. So pretty much to look forward to. Stay tuned, you'll hear all the details once they're out.